for the longest, just from childhood development, just from early upbringing, especially the whole space of the self-improvement industry and, improving yourself. So I was always avoidant of my emotion. I would always suppress them. I wouldn't express myself and always kept everything inside. And what this allowed me to do is really dissect everything I was going through and internalize it and figure out why I felt the way I did. And for the longest time, I'd always kept it inside of me and would analyze it over and over and over, never letting it out or talking about it as I'm doing right now. But I recently discovered that, it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be you, say what you feel. And it's okay to feel and not have to internalize emotion. And with that being said, especially on low points, that's when emotions are highest. And that's when all the programming and conditioning of whatever you internalize that sort of a conditioning from plays in. You keep these emotions inside of you. You fight through it, as they always say. Oh, you got to be a man, so you can't feel emotion. I think that's complete and utter bullshit. And it's important, as Corey Wayne says, you got to feel the emotion to heal it. Sometimes you need to just break down. And I'm not saying cry every day and cry it to everyone you know about your problems. But sometimes you just need to, on your own, just let it out. And once you let it out, okay, that's out of your system. Now you're at a baseline to then build from. You let whatever was bothering you go. Now you're ready to get back in the field and fight. And it's important because when you internalize it too long, that ends up transmutating to either radical, irrational decisions, things you're going to regret, quick pleasures like porn, food, anything, whatever your vice is, you'll resort to because, humans can't take in all of that. At least, there are outliers, look, but everyone suffers. Nobody's untouchable. Everybody has feelings. And of course, there's a certain limit that everybody can control them. These guys like Elon Musk who are just practically robots. And good for them, right? But if you're watching this video, you're probably not one of them. And you got to accept that. And that's a big hit to your ego. And that's something I had to accept. But I understand, I'm not so special. I'm just another human being. I'm just a normal person. And that's okay, because we play what the cards were dealt with, and there's nothing else to it. But whole point of even bringing all this up is the feeling of being in a low point. The emotion that is there. Hitting rock bottom in life. Feeling like you're imprisoned. Feeling like there's no hope. Feeling that, life's going nowhere. But a thing you got to realize is just how good times can't last forever. These bad times can't last forever. And there's going to be a certain point of time where it's gone. Whatever problem's going on, whatever situation, it's going to pass you by. And only thing you can really do is just stay in there, stay in the pocket. As Chris would say. Stay in the pocket and just accept your situation. Accept the feelings that come with the situation and realize that as much as you would want to turn it around in an instant or tomorrow, it's probably not the case. And you got to deal with whatever there is to come. You got to deal with whatever there is to come. And that's just part of it. But that's just one thing. And then especially in a low point in life, it's not even that is the ticker though, or that gets you most frustrated. That's a huge thing. But mainly it's all the other things that you can't do. The limitations on that one thing that you want to push forward in that you can no longer do. The main thing that gets you is just the things you can't do, the things you were working toward that now have to take a halt in order to deal with the problems at hand currently. And it's annoying, but it's just a part of life. It works in cycles. There's some months where you're completely free. Nothing's going wrong in life. It seems like you got life by the throat, that there's nothing that can knock you down. And then the next month comes, and then your life turns upside down in which it seems like a day. Things are going wrong. Life's shit. That one thing you never expected to happens. You're in a situation to where you got to drop everything you're doing and start from scratch. That's just life. But it's okay, because like I said earlier, it works in cycles, and you got to accept the situation you're in, work your way out of it, and then continue on with whatever you were doing. And the best thing about these moments in life is there's so many things to take from them. Regardless how bad it gets, going back to earlier, it's not going to last forever. So the thing you're going to be left with is new lessons learned, more experience, more battle scars, but you're going to come out of it, because that's the only way to do it. You're going to pass the time one way or another. So you got to choose how you want to pass the time. Are you going to let it be the destructor of you? Are you going to let it be the destroyer of you? Because the main thing about these times is not getting better or not trying to excel in the areas that you were pushing in before, but the whole thing is to get through it. Maintain everything else that you had going on. Don't let it crumple. Keep yourself maintained. Keep yourself as a priority. Get through these times. Solve whatever problem at hand you got to deal with. And then when things get better, then you can go back to the things that you were working on before. You don't have to be always 100% grind, 100%. I need to push this. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't push forward the things that you had planned originally. You know, like that quote that gets thrown around a lot, Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. You can have a 4-month plan laid out day by day, hour by hour. But when that big hit of life comes and there's nothing you can do to continue with the plan, you got to adjust and you got to move accordingly based on your situation. And that's all it is. It's all calculated. It's all a necessary logical move. It's not emotional based, how if I've stopped progressing in the areas that I was trying to build in, my life's going to go to pieces. No, you got to deal with the situation at hand, because your life's already in pieces. All you can do is pick up the pieces, get back to where you were originally, get yourself at a clean slate, and then push from there. It's okay to take a couple maintenance months. You know, if you're progressing in fitness and something happens in your life, you can't do fitness and be homeless. If you turn homeless, you gotta sort that out, whether it's getting another job, whether it's finding a place, whether it's renting a room with a friend. However long that takes, you gotta sort that out. And then you can return back to fitness. But how are you going to do both? How are you going to worry about your next meal? How are you going to worry about where you're going to sleep next and still progress in the gym? It's these things that life gives you that you're forced to prioritize, that you don't want to. I don't want to worry about where am I going to sleep tomorrow. But sometimes life will throw that at you and you got to deal with it. You come out a more stronger person. And that's the main things about these points in life. They're not bad. They're here to build us, and we have to treat them as that rather than seeing it as a negative, because we're going to come out stronger a result of it. And main thing to do with these times is just stay in the pocket, stay in there. Don't let this be the downfall. Don't let this be the beginning of the end. Don't let this times weigh on you too much, because they're not going to be here forever. Maintain what you have going, and then when things get better, then you can start again. But you got to just focus on the most important thing at hand. If you're going homeless in the next month, you got to get that sorted before you think about getting your morning routine in place. So life gives us priorities. We'll deal with them. And it's okay to feel the emotion. You have to feel the emotion to get through those difficult moments in life. It's part of life. It's not bad. And it's part of being human. Emotions are all within us. We have to feel them. The thing is not letting them dictate our actions. It's okay to feel them, but if all your actions are based off emotion, then that's a problem. Regardless of what you feel, you still got to act based on what's most important to you, based on what you're working toward. And they're always going to be there in the background, but it's a matter of navigating them correctly and focusing on just pushing forward, whichever the problem is, whatever you're working toward, day by day, ticking boxes off and slowly getting to where we need to be. But moral of the story, emotions getting through tough times, what they do to us, and it's all necessary at the end of the day. And I'll leave it at that.